Schneider wanted to talk about admin costs for the first.
Well, yeah, I only brought that up because you mentioned it. I had similar concerns, but I don't want to upset the apple cart at this point.
You can throw anything out there if you want to.
Well, I just worry that we need an interpretation of the admin costs. It's not a hard cap, not 10% of 1% of 39 million. It should be over the life of the program that total amount. Because I think you're going to need more on the front years, and then you won't need them in the later years. Just the thought. But I'd hate to see us running short of administrative money on appeals and bond councils and other things in those first critical years.
Is there a way that you'd like to, that is living in the IGA right now? So remember, what is being dealt with tomorrow is the IGA. We'll have the ballot language process after that I've been taking notes on the issues that we need to address there. But just related to the IGA for tomorrow, as it sits right now, it says 1%. Is there a suggestion that you would have to
that be interpreted as 1% over the life, the 20-year life of the program, and then I think you have that flexibility. If you do need $500,000 in year 2 to get bonds and do all the things you need to do, you're not in any way betraying what you promised the voters. You'd be able to pick that up on the back end.
Or to set up a collection system or whatever.
Whatever you need. I just think the ramp-up costs are going to be higher, and that those costs will go down once the program is running smoothly.
Is there agreement to try to
interpretation
put
of
some
the
language
Do we have to do
together?
that on the IGA or without?
Well, it's in the IGA, it's up to 1%.
Up to 1%.
So
But
if
is that 1% of 20 years of collections, or is it 1% annually? So I think that's handcuffing, and I think that may prove to be a problem.
Somehow, the other two authorities managed, or the other three authorities managed to get by with 1%, so why shouldn't this one? Yeah, the PPRTA.
Always been under 1%.
Yeah.
So it averages about 0.7%.
But
But we used PPH.
it was twice the dollar amount
Doing the same
as
thing.
this, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But- Good.
so we have those other agencies there to leverage as well, just like PBAGC, the city attorneys, and everything else. I think that's reasonable.
Councilmember Willis?
This is a very simple. So on 4F, one of the things that I've said is you shouldn't have to ask written request.
I thought that was gone.
It is the written parts, but it's still shall upon request. I just assume say shall have access.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
We just say to ensure that any property owner shall have access to the information versus upon request. Because that, when you took written out and you left the other request, I'm picturing myself on a phone tree, waiting and pressing 6 and then pressing 4, trying to request. We just make it available.
Press 23 for
One-
happening.
Okay.
If I can, one final thing. I think we need to make a decision of when we will adopt the tables for the figuring of the different categories, residential, whatever. So if that is not quite ready tomorrow, at the latest we would adopt the tables as a council would be when we do the ballot language, so that we know exactly. What's that?
We don't have any purview in the ballot language, right? I mean, that's,
Well, we're going to discuss that hopefully by next Wednesday, if we can do something like that. But we need to think through how the tables are going to come forward.
Let me ask Kevin. Kevin, are we in a position to be able to provide council and the commissioners and everybody else with finalized tables, fee tables,
Yes.
based on the amount that's been agreed today?
Yes.
Okay, so we will have that for you tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Or tonight, I believe. So.
That would be good if we had the final tables. That would be so we can figure it out. Appreciate that.
Okay, thank you.
President King, sir, I'm sorry, can I clarify some direction on the administrative costs? I'm being told by folks in the know back here that a 1% admin cost will not nearly cover the cost of collection. So I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that before we're directed to simply put costs of collection into admin costs. That we will hamstring it for you at the outset.
Where else would it go?
Is that because you're hiring an outside vendor that gives a percentage of the trees?
Well, that's the real possibility that there will be an outside vendor. There's some. legal
I was gonna go on
unresolved
our
issues.
property.
Yeah, just from their property tax bill.
Yeah.
I think they're talking about collections, is if people don't pay, they're gonna hand it
Yeah,
out to a collection agency and they will collect, when they collect a fee.
No,
they-
I think it's what they were talking about, and
Do you want to
Typically,
explain
the-
how it works
the
now?
treasurer collects for most of the world, school districts, fire districts, all those, and the treasurer charges a fee for that. And I don't know what that fee is. I guess perhaps we should have found that, but that's why that was set aside, because there is a cost to do that.
And then where does it come out of? Does it come out of the top? Does it come out of O&M? Does it come out of, capital improvements?
Right,
You know,
right.
If it's not admin costs, where does the collection come from?
Using a school district again as the example, the treasurer keeps his, and it is a him at this point.
Right.
The treasurer keeps his portion and forwards the rest on to the school district, and how they account for it, I don't know. Or if they call the new number the net. They may call the number they receive as the net. I don't know how they do that.
Well, if I might, I'll let Nicola finish, but the difference obviously between PPRTA and the PPRDA, whatever we're calling it, will be that it's our sales tax now. So the city collects and the state collects for the county, whereas it's different with this because it will be collected by the treasurer. So if I understand this right, by taking that language and modifying it to not allow it to come out of different funds, to have to come out of essentially potentially administrative fees, then you would be reducing the amount of administrative oversight available to the authority. So I'll defer to Nicola if you have additional
Well,
information.
statutorily, the treasurer does collect property taxes on behalf of all local jurisdictions, and the statutory fee is 1.5% that comes off the top before that property tax, or in this case, fee, is distributed to those entities. So I don't believe it's something that this entity would even need to account for in terms of a fee. The revenue would be reduced accordingly. So the revenue as it comes into you, less that fee, is the revenue that you would effectively collect. So I don't think that's a fee that you have to build into the budget. Secondary, I was speaking to Commissioner Lathan in terms of bond counsel and any startup costs associated with any kind of financing related to capital projects. Traditionally, how that's done is any bond counsel fee or fees associated with financing. If you have to use like a QTech Rock or somebody out of Denver, those fees are traditionally built into the financing component, and then the capital proceeds are adjusted accordingly based on that. So that's not an admin fee that would be paid directly again from this. It's generally built into all those financing documents, so not a check that would be needed to cut directly.
Council President King may have the solution here.
Just put the word net in front of the fee, and that way it's net to the Stormwater Authority. That way you take care of the cost. So we just put,
What page are we on?
it was on page 2, was it 3? Page 3? Was the fee collection, where's the 1% done? Is it, the fee is,
Get on page 2 and went on to 3.
Yep. Top of your page 3 right now.
That's the definition of admin.
Right, we're gonna delete that.
where's the definition, where's the 1%
Well, there's
definition?
net revenue that's on page 4.
Page 4? Just,
Less administrative expenses.
what line is it on?
It's it's about just after the first paragraph ends on page 4. Net revenue means all funds received by the
So
We
PPRDA.
changed that definition to say,
Keith's correct already.
Yeah,
It's
it
already
works.
there,
It's already
and
there.
like Nicola said, we don't have to deal with that.
But when we worked backwards, like with the revised, when we replaced the CPI portion, now you're gonna have some more math to do when you work backwards, because the people are paying for that 1.5% administrative fee, so that's gonna have to be when it works backwards. And that could actually increase the individual rates per impervious surface.
And Don, it's actually referenced specifically the 1% on page 9 at the bottom. In D, I believe that's section 40.
I think the fee for the impervious surface should be the gross, not the net. It should be you should base it on the gross, not the net, so.
So actually coming into the board might not be 3.275, whatever.
Okay, so it would reduce the amount.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
And I think if you do it on the gross, that makes
Yeah.
more sense to,
Yeah.
that way you understand.
Right.
You don't have to calculate
Right.
how much you're taking off
Yeah,
of the
make
net.
it simpler.
So fee revenue will be based on the gross receipts,
Correct.
and everything else is gonna be based on net receipts.
Minus count what the collection cost is.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like we have a consensus on that. Is there somebody who disagrees? Okay, I think we do have consensus in that case.